Evening. Sorry for the late. Let's wait until the YouTube gets fired up. Later stream after a long day. Apologies. I just wanted to raise a couple of things. Got locked in the trunk of a car. We've got Lynn rolled and ready. Okay. We've got Blue Nose. Is that a 4-leaf clover? I can't tell. All right. I think we had 6 now, or 10, now down to 6. God knows. They do a whole bunch of bullshit. Donna! Good evening, folks. How's it going? Blue Nose says she doesn't know how long she can say. I'll try not to keep it, or I'll try not to keep it. I try not to be very long. Promise. I promise. Just wanted to bring a couple of things to your attention. Just observations. Nikki, Cheryl's in here, and Linda M. Good evening. Good evening. I had a nice phone call with family member. That was very nice. It's been a while, so we had a good catch up, and I like that. I met some really great people along the way. Very lucky. Very lucky indeed. Okay. Now, so we've got all this goo going on. Looky-loo. Goo and Licky-loo. Looky-loo. Lynn's doing something with thumbs. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Grandma. Okay. Hello, Grandma. Invasion. How's it going? How's it happening there? How's it happening? All right, let's just get that lined up. All right, so there we go. Happy to catch a live. I'm happy to have you aboard. Welcome. How's Looky doing tonight? All right, now, so we have Tim's article here. I left a couple of links. Did I update that? I hope I did. Let me just make sure. Oh, okay. Give me one moment here. One moment. I definitely want to have that one right at the top. Seamus, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? Okay. Thought I had this already. My apologies. When is that? 1 p.m. Okay, and we do this. And we do. Oh no! Don't, please. Okay, we do that. We do this. Just getting a couple more links in there for folks. Right, and one more. Oh, why did it do that? There we go. And what page is that on? I forget. we go, page 1. All right, so we'll just save that. All right, there we go. So if you refresh your page now, there will be a couple of new links in there, which I'm going to go over here. We got Caper, Late Night Show, Grinder, long time no see. Hope all is well, sir. Darlene is in here. Was reviewing memorial stuff. Yeah, we'll go through a little bit of that. Was watching the press conference today about fluid and dynamic bank robbery in BC. All right. So the fiasco with all of the prior knowledge and the moving around of legislation and or trying introduction of legislation, which of course then stuff has been built upon. Lucky, you know, the whole cast of characters. Interesting moves by Darren. Yeah. Okay. So if we look at, obviously, the reason I put this one out is just because I want to point out this part here, which I've kind of gone on about ad nauseum. A lot of people are already very much aware, but those who aren't, just help bring you up to speed. Media has prior access to all the information they have since day one. And they kind of, I would say, in my personal opinion, spin narrative to help. I think it's very solidly based. They get funding from certain places. And the articles always reflect positively on their strategic moves. So, of course, you had the kind of burnout stuff happen last week. When you look at the calendar of the Mass Casualty Commission, which is fluid and dynamic, and again, I was looking at it tonight with the family member, and it changes. Like, honestly, it will change week to week, and that will change the entire schedule. They plan the schedule very strategically. And I would say, sadly, I think they planned, it may be a leap, but I believe that they did plan around Heidi'S memorial this week. That's why you're seeing a lot of stuff come out. Now, of course, nobody is ever saying anything about Heidi. Heidi, we all love her, and she's an innocent in this one. But people ride that one and use it, and have for a long time. RCMP. So I just wanted to kind of say that, right? Because it isn't that I have the utmost respect for Heidi Stevenson and her family, and the fact that she died in the line of duty, which is tragic, but very tragic. But to use that skirt is not right. So if we look at the foundational documents, so at the end of today, they just kind of some other stuff in there, right? And I read through one of them, which was the attachment at the end. And there was some discussion about the solicitor client privilege. Glenn, howdy, and Ken. So if we look at these two, we're going to look at two, and the links are below. The email from Leah Scanlon to Commissioner, forward, okay? letter to a Re-H division strong meeting. And then the second one is the original, which was the, and she says, attachment to email, lucky letter, right? See related source material, which is this one then here. Okay. Now, if you go to, I hope this is lined up correctly. So if you go to the original letter, which we read through this afternoon, links again below, it's not a very positive letter. I find it very interesting, but anyway, I won't go into that. Now, this is an attachment in this email, right? Which we have this solicitor client privilege. If we go to the bottom here, from Leah Scanlon to Brenda Lucky, letter Re-H strong meeting. Good morning, ma'am. Please find attached a letter as a follow-up to a meeting that took place April 28th, 2020. Thank you. From Leah to Brenda. The letter here is the letter, right? Now, if we go up here, it says solicitor client privilege. Well, this is rather strange because neither Brenda nor Leah are lawyers. It does say that it is a forward. A forward to who? We don't know. But if it is the two parties that are involved, or another party who is not a lawyer, this black garbage doesn't apply. Now, do I believe, obviously, the Attorney General would be involved in things like that? With certain things, yes. With this letter, probably not. So, without the release of who the addressees are on the email, and by the way, there are different colors of redactions. When you're reviewing the documents, white redactions, in my opinion, are the ones for Mass Casualty Commission. Black redactions, which appear generally in RCMP-related documents, RCMP's documents themselves, are the RCMP's own redactions. So this is not Mass Casualty. This is the RCMP themselves, who then would furnish that to the Mass Casualty and just say, oh yeah, believe us here, it's solicitor-client privilege. Without the addressees listed there, we don't know. But certainly you can say that the two there that were there before, neither are a solicitor. Therefore, the solicitor-client privilege, garbage. So unredact who they are. Let's see if there's a lawyer's name there. Because if there ain't, there's a serious problem. They can't legally justify, in my opinion, that this is a solicitor-client privilege because they can't prove that it is a solicitor-client related document. All we have is Leah and Brenda, neither of whom are lawyers. So therefore, solicitor-client, garbage. MCC redactions are white, not black. So this is junk without the email addressees listed here, and should be brought, I would say, highly to the attention of others and lawyers who are watching. Please bring that up. Family members, please help your lawyers to bring this one up. Who is the addressees? Why does the solicitor-client privilege apply? Can you prove it? Because frankly, I don't think so. Oh no. I think they're just hiding behind black and then lying and saying that it's a solicitor client. You have to have a lawyer. Where is it? I only see black. Don't you? I only see Leah and Brenda. I call shenanigans. Big time. Well, that's our job. You see, we kick their ass, media and MCC. Only do things because people here force them to do it. I would say start firing that off at the MCC and the RCMP, perhaps on the Tweeties. Wink. And media. Throw a whole bunch into them. You know, you can at all kinds of people, at media, different media institutions, Rabble Media, MCC, RCMP, Brenda Lucky, Attorney General Canada, Everybody knows that everybody else knows. Your gig is up. Quit fucking around, please. It's not appreciated. Links below. Moving along. Tomorrow, Wednesday. This is why, of course, tomorrow is off, right? Is for Heidi. Okay. Link is below for her memorial. I will try and stream it. I do have something that is very imperative that I deal with. And almost always I will put almost anything aside. And I am very torn because I do care very much for her story. Very much. So I'm going to try to broadcast it live. If I can't, I will most certainly put it up afterwards. But it is on at 1 o'clock. The link is below. So that's 1 o'clock Atlantic time, which would be 12. 12 Ontario time, which then is 10 my time. And in BC, it is 9. So please, if you can, really show the family some support because, as I said, they are victims in this one too. I would say, sadly. And I think they know it. And it breaks their heart. Now, I wanted to go through a story just to have some. Why is this here? I don't know why that's yellow. Strange. So I've talked about and clarify kind of how much control that the RCMP has with memorials. Okay, so these are official funerals that are done by the RCMP. That's right, 23. And Heidi is most certainly one of the 23. Great shirt. As is Baby Beaton. Everybody is a victim in this. I've talked about Pierre Lemaitre before, out in BC, who was the press person for the YVR tasing incident many years ago. And Pierre Lemaitre tragically committed suicide because of all of the pressures inside. because his role was like Lisa Croteau or Jennifer Clark, you know, and I did used to ride her. I tried to be a little bit more. Anyway, they read papers. And many times they don't even know what they're reading, right? Sometimes they do, and that's a problem. But if they don't know necessarily what they're reading and they're just kind of doing their job and they get furnished false information and then push that false information into the public, who gets the heat? Of course they do, right? And Peter Lemaitre, that was what happened to him. And he took a lot of heat from both the public and then from the inside of the RCMP. They absolutely destroyed this man. And on a bigger picture, you know, is that Catherine Galliford, and I reviewed that before, Catherine Galliford, who is Darren Campbell's ex-wife. Pepper is his current wife, but his former wife was Catherine Galliford, who is an absolutely amazing woman. And she got really run through the ringer. But Pierre and Catherine were friends, and she really stepped up, as she always does. I wonder if I should read that article where she came to bat for him. She has a lot of. She suffers from agoraphobia quite badly because of what the RCMP did. You can probably look back at one of the earliest videos I did, which was Who is Darren Campbell? And that will explain who Catherine Galliford is, at least in part. I went through other videos explaining further. But Pierre and Catherine were friends, and she really stepped up to the plate after he tragically committed suicide. Now, widow blames Mounties for husband's death. This is going to enlighten upon the memorial and how these are conducted. Okay, so Campbell's ex, yes. I don't know. I can probably go and get the link, and I'll throw that in there. Yes, it's a sad family story all around. But Catherine is really quite just a hero. Widow blames Mountie for husband's death. Harassment from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police drove a prominent member of the force to suicide. The Mounties wouldn't let his widow give a eulogy at his funeral, she claims in court. I want you to think about that for a moment. Sheila Lemaitre, former Mountie, also, who met her husband Pierre Lemaitre on the job, says her husband was dedicated, passionate officer who was praised by higher ups. Pierre Lemaitre joined the force in 1985 and was posted to media relations position in 2003. In July that year, a reporter told Lemaitre that his direct supervisor had sexually harassed her on, quote, numerous occasions, quote, although struggling with the impact of reporting this complaint would have on the smaller media unit, okay, right, because that's what he does. He's the person out in front of the cameras, was. Pierre Lemaitre knew from policy and training that he was required to report the matter to the sergeant's superior officer, the widow says. In her July 20th claim, this is 2015, British Columbia Supreme Court. A day after her husband reported the complaint, he was, quote, berated, end quote, by his supervisor, transferred to another unit, and eventually placed on sick leave for stress and anxiety. Senior officer apologized later and offered him a transfer wherever he wanted, Sheila Lemaitre says. Of course, that would take a hell of a lot of stink to get that. In 2007, Peter Lemaitre, promoted to sergeant, became media relations officer, RCMP's E Division. In that October that year, he was tasked with handling the intense media scrutiny of the death of Robert Zikansky, a Polish immigrant who died after being tased repeatedly at the Vancouver International Airport, which is another story I will get into down the line because it's a complicated one too. That posting was short-lived. Pierre was replaced after he complained that he had been given misinformation, a report that made it to the media without his being a chance to correct it, Sheila says. Her husband was, quote, brought into public contempt, end quote, and called and quote, RCMP liar. See, catching all the heat for lies that he'd been given. And, quote, RCMP spin doctor. When the Mounties failed to correct the misinformation it had released, he was transferred to a small suburban unit in Langley and made a program. That's very conservative, very conservative. Okay. And made a program director for traffic. Quote, in this transfer, there was no media function. While remaining a sergeant, it was essentially a demotion to a job in the RCMP considered, quote, a dumping ground, the complaint states. Quote, he was aware of his career ambitions were shattered. Sheila Lemaitre says her husband was shunned, quote, shunned and isolated, quote, by fellow officers after the transfer, causing him to develop depression, anger management issues, and diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. He went off duty on sick leave in February 2013 and committed suicide January 29th that year. This stuff is absolutely real, folks. The shit that they throw at these people is crazy. In the days after his death, his widow says, an RCMP chaplain took over the funeral arrangements and refused to let her deliver a eulogy or play songs she had selected for the funeral. Think about that. Who decides? I am not saying that in Heidi'S case that, Dean or people won't be allowed to speak, etc. What I am saying is the RCMP has the final say. And to my knowledge, and this has not changed. This is still the way that it goes. So what you see tomorrow is what the RCMP approves of. And if they don't approve of it, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. This is why there are a lot of innocents in this one. Okay? And it's important to understand who sits where. What they're doing right now is they're firing out a bunch of propaganda. They're using somebody who was great, wonderful, and they are using that to blow smoke over their dirty tricks that they're constantly running. I'm not talking about the Operation 1819. I'm talking about the shit that they pulled since, right? And then you've got the MCC conveniently dumping certain things right around this. This memorial was planned a long time ago in the background, okay? But the MCC and the RCMP obviously know, of course. So what better time to get some stuff out you don't like? That's why you see also some PTSD stuff coming out from the RCMP. But who is causing this? Who is causing a lot of the PTSD within the RCMP? Members will clearly attest to that one. They know. They know who causes the PTSD, by and large. It's within the force. A chaplain took over the funeral arrangements and refused to let her deliver a eulogy or play songs selected for her husband's funeral. Yes. Oh, yeah, Janice. Yeah. No, I've reviewed all that. Yeah, no. Janice Gray. Of course, where's Janice Gray today? Oh. Certain games. They involve blocks. Proof, racist, toxic masculinity, masochistic white supremacy. But, it is a real issue. It is an absolutely real issue. They have some very serious problems, but they use those problems within the RCMP that they built themselves to defend themselves. Do you follow? It's a sick game they play. Sick. Twisting the knife, she says, a senior officer who contacted her after her husband died told her, quote, what was done to Pierre was done for the good of the force. What was, quote, what was done to Pierre was done for the good of the force. Senior officer. Nice. Real nice. The RCMP has been dogged with lawsuits in recent years. This is 2015. In many recent years, including at least one class action accusing the force of tolerating a culture of harassment and bullying, one that they built. Sheer Lemaitre seeks damages under the Family Compensation Act for harassment, loss of consortium, lost income, pain, and suffering, and vicariously. My eyes. Vicarious liability. My apologies. She is represented by Barry Carter and Mayor Jensen Blair in Kamloops for the good of the force. In the days after his death, his widow says an RCMP chaplain took over funeral arrangements and refused to let her deliver a eulogy or play songs she selected for her husband's funeral. Just to give you a little bit of background on how this goes down. What you see tomorrow is only approved, to the best of my knowledge, and I have inquired inside. This has not changed. It's only whatever they say goes. Okay? Not to say that, Dean and his family can't request things, but if he wanted to come up and say something, perhaps that was negative or shine a negative light maybe on the RCMP in a way, I'm not saying that he would. Would they approve of that? Do you think? The good of the force, what was done Not good. So sad. They planned things to come out around this, at the time, the help force. Piping out, there's already piping out tons and tons. I wanted to go and actually look at one of those videos. Maybe we should play it at the end. I don't want to mix and match, though, because Heidi'S thing is Heidi'S thing. And I'm very respectful of families. Wanted also to bring in one other piece. So this is Wayne Skipperband's notes, which are all very interesting reads. Hello, Linda. Glad to have you aboard. Hope you are feeling better. May 12th, okay? So we're not quite a month later. 11:08. Call from Randy Slaughter. Hants East MLA called him, renaming new 104 overpass in East Hants after Heidi'S Stevenson. Randy says Dean Stevens, I don't know if he's just being sloppy, doesn't remember Heidi'S last name. Dean Stevenson says, quote, "What about other victims?" End quote. The MLA call to me. Who is he thinking about? He's a widower. Kids. Lost his wife. Lost the mother of his children. Well, who is he thinking about again? After overpasses and all of the show that came out on specific days, i.e. press conferences. April 24th, press conference. All across the country. Don't air the press conference. Air everything to do with Heidi. Do you see the skirt? Who's Dean's thinking about? All of them. A lot of respect. This is a mammoth beast. And it takes anybody down that's in its way. And it can't be allowed to continue. He's a good man. Yep. And you know, in their own documents, what page is that? Notification next of kin, which we can find it here, took down. Okay, so on the foundational documents, you go to this document here, family seeking, information seeking from families, and next of kin notifications, which frankly is an absolute horror show. Still waiting for certain pieces of this to come out, but they will. There's the link. Now, this document was up. I pointed out a couple of errors that were in here. I know to be errors. One's very blatant. The MCC/RCMP took this document down last week. Was that? Last week, I believe. And this was after it was pointed out to them. And they still kept the error in. Let's see what the error is. here. The good of the force. Family of Constable Heidi'S Stevenson, point 289. Okay. Page 72. This is after they have removed the document, put it back up. You'd think that you could fix it. You'd think after a year and a half of this trash, you could probably get some of this stuff right. Oh no. But maybe is part of it. Just run people into the ground. Constable Heidi'S Stevenson was a what? A 14-year member. Oh, really now? Are you sure about that one? Let's just Google. Where's the wiki on this even? Oh, they have it in here. That's not quite a wiki. Not very hard to find. Usually the RCMP official page, how about their regimental page, you know? Where is the old one? The one from April. Here we go. Oh, Tara. You got it. Heidi graduated in Depot, 1996. She spent most of her career at Dartmouth. She also served, how long? 3 years on the musical ride. I like how I hear something somewhere about, no, 3 years. Get it right. Not hard. Trust me. She took a year off. But 23. So why is it that they have difficulty? Even after scrubbing and fixing, taking a document down, it's pointed out to them, please fix this. I think I had a tweet about that. Please fix it. No. They're going to put back up with fucking error in here too. Okay? I've seen so many errors in here. They've got some more stuff in here, I believe, about family. Wrong. What are you doing? You can't even treat your own family well. But of course, what was it? Twisting the knife, she says, a senior officer who contacted her after her husband died. This is Pierre Lemaitre. Going back in time, yeah. Not anything to do with Dean. I don't want to attribute anything to him falsely. Pierre Lemaitre's widow, senior officer who contacted her after her husband died, told her, quote, what was done to Pierre was done for the good of the force. Are we getting it now? So when you watch Heidi's thing, just remember, it's a bit of a dog and pony show. Obviously, come with your heart and your prayers, but understand why it's being done the way that it is, and it's sick. More site crap bringing musical ride back here in Nova Scotia last month. But they see people are way too smart now. Like the somatization. Get out of here. Critical thinkers. People who use their brains. No. Quit running fucking game. 25 years RCMP. Now that's dedication. Love her duties. It's not quite 25. But yeah. We'll leave that alone. No, not finding fault. Not finding fault. And there's more to it anyway, so I won't get into that. But patience is a virtue when navigating MCC database. Patience is a virtue. Yes. But it's all about wearing people down. And I saw, I had a conversation, just a chat or whatever the hell it is, this typing goo, with somebody who was saying that, are they in here? I believe they may be. Let's just check. If they are, they can acknowledge themselves. They are. They were. And they said that they just had to walk away because they were too angry. That's part of it. They want people to get really run down and get angry, and that's how, they just grind people down. When you get that way, just take a breath, go and enjoy the wonderful birds outside singing and great weather. Go have a swim if the fog doesn't roll in and the weather doesn't change now. And come back refreshed, because you won't be defeated. You're too good for that. Anyway, I just wanted to make people aware, and I think that on two points there. The solicitor one. Demand it. Demand to see the upper lines of this with the names. Because if there isn't a lawyer's name here, it can't be blacked out. Sorry, RCMP. Don't hide. It's foul. Don't hide behind good people who served you well. Stop using families. Wrong. Someday, shame's going to make a comeback. It's dark, but it's only beginning. God bless you all. God bless the 23. And God bless Heidi.